A woman thought she'd go for a swim to relax. But she noticed something strange about the water today. She felt an invisible force pulling her down. She tried to swim back to the boat at once, but looked up to see the boat drifting away. So she screamed for help with all her might. Yet her daughter on the boat was busy listening to music, completely oblivious to her mother's cries. Seeing this, panic set in for the woman. The harder she struggled, the faster she sank. Fortunately, the man on the boat heard her voice. He quickly turned the boat around. He dived straight in, and saved the drowning woman just in time. Everyone scrambled to pull her back onto the deck. The man was deeply puzzled. How could such an expert swimmer almost drown? But the woman's answer was hauntingly strange. After hearing what she said, the man didn't think much of it at first. He simply warned everyone to stay out of the water. But little did he know, as the compass spun wildly, an apocalyptic disaster was already unfolding. Hello everyone. This is Old West Movies. Today, we're bringing you a disaster film. As long as we survive, scientists speculate that every 700,000 years, the Earth's magnetic poles reverse. Affected by the magnetic field, the oceans and land masses will swap positions. This will bring a colossal catastrophe to the Earth, and the Miller family happens to be caught in this reversal. Amidst this great disaster, they experience a series of bizarre events. Whether they ultimately survive becomes the question on everyone's mind. Without further ado, let's jump back into the story. Today is the son's 13th birthday. Dad, Tom, lights the candles on the cake for his son to make a wish. Their daughter thoughtfully snaps a family photo. But before they can cut the cake, a deafening boom echoes across the sea. They initially thought it was a falling meteor, but they didn't expect a second one to come crashing down right above them. Fortunately, it didn't hit the boat, but at such close range, it's clear those weren't meteors. They were satellites. The 16-year-old daughter video calls her boyfriend, eager to tell him about the satellites falling. But before she can finish, she sees eerie lightning surges in the sky. Then the signal cuts out. But that wasn't the end of it. The ship starts shaking violently. A storm is clearly coming. Dad quickly grabs the life vests, insisting everyone put them on, just in case. In the chaos, the family huddles in the rocky boat, surviving the long night. By morning, the storm has passed. As they wake up, the sight before them leaves them speechless. Their ship, once at sea, is now stranded on a mountain. Below, the dried-up seabed and exposed reefs reveal an impossible truth. The entire Atlantic Ocean is gone. They quickly realize they're trapped in the middle of a dead sea. Getting back to land won't be easy. Mom starts gathering food and supplies from the ship. Dad uses the radio to call for help. And their son uses balloons to craft a distress signal. I hope a rescue team spots us. Soon, the radio crackles to life. The good news is there's a research vessel nearby. But the bad news is, in 3 days, the oceans will come rushing back. Time is running out. Reaching that ship is their only chance to survive. Dad marks the ship's coordinates on the map. Just as they ready their gear to leave, they hear the sudden sound of a dog barking. They look toward the noise. A man and his dog, limping toward them. He must have seen the balloons the boy released. Regardless, in this desolate place, seeing another living soul is a relief. So, Dad grabs a canteen and walks to meet him. Because in these conditions, a canteen of clean water is the most precious thing of all. The drifter takes it and gulps it down. He even lets out a satisfied belch. Yet, instead of a thank you, Dad is struck down with the canteen. Clearly, looting the ship's supplies became the drifter's motive to kill. He even landed a fatal blow. Mom, walking toward them, can hardly believe her eyes. Coming to her senses, she rushes back. The drifter gives chase. Due to his limited mobility, he throws his spear. Fortunately, Mom is fast. The spear grazes her shoulder. Ignoring the pain, she thinks only of protecting her kids. Mom locks the cabin door. She knows it won't hold for long. To keep the children safe, she hides them in the storage cabinet. She hands the flare gun to her daughter, then grabs a knife and ducks into the bathroom. Sure enough, the drifter breaks in. He finds the canned food first and starts eating. He looks starving. He doesn't spot the kids in the cabinet. But a noise from the bathroom draws his attention. He moves to check the bathroom. Fortunately, Mom managed to crawl out through the hole. She escaped danger for the moment. Just as she let out a sigh of relief, Mom kills it with a single strike. The drifter sees his dog go down, and he is seething with rage. To protect the kids on the boat, Mom sneaks around to the other side. She enters the cabin through the hole, but she is ambushed and knocked down by the drifter. As she is on the verge of being strangled to death, the daughter can't take it anymore. She crawls out from the cabin. The shot isn't lethal, but the impact is enough to floor the drifter. At the same time, the flare ignites the kitchen. Mom rushes up to finish him with a kick. Then, she gathers the necessary supplies, grabs the map, and escapes. The family collapses beside Dad's body, weeping inconsolably. Just then, Mom looks up, seeing the drifter also fleeing the ship. She grabs her children and gets them out of there fast. Mom has water and a map in her pack, essentials for surviving this wasteland. Her son is still paralyzed by the grief of losing his father, so Mom steps up to comfort him. She says surviving is all that matters now. It's the only way to honor his father's memory. But the drifter has no intention of letting them go, shadowing them from a distance, limping along. To shake off his pursuit, the three of them run for their lives. After half a day, they seem to have put some distance between them, but their water supply is already running dry. Luckily, they find the wreckage of a plane before dark, a place to hunker down for the night. Mom pulls out the family photo, staring at the four of them, happy and whole. Now, only three of them remain. A wave of sorrow crashes over her, but she knows she must keep them alive, no matter the cost. In the night, they hear strange noises outside, initially dismissing them as nothing but the wind. But as dawn fully broke, they found the drifter dead by the plane. His flesh had been gnawed to pieces. Clearly not the work of a man. They had to get out of this place fast. After traveling a bit further, they hadn't had water for a day and night. Her son was desperate with thirst. He spotted a puddle and started gulping it down. Mom and her sister rushed to stop him, because it was seawater. The more he drank, the thirstier he'd get. He'd die of salt poisoning right there. By now, night was falling. Mom heard those strange noises getting closer again. She hurried the kids toward higher ground. They spotted some people picking up water bottles. Yet those people, they looked at them like they'd seen a ghost. They even abandoned their water. They scrambled into a shipping container and slammed the door shut. With no choice, the three of them climbed atop the container. At that moment, a tide of deep-sea crabs swarmed toward them, and they began attacking humans. After a violent gust subsided, the people below had been devoured by the crabs. Mom picked up a gun and found a walkie-talkie. She finally made contact with the research vessel. Turns out, the ship was under attack by the crabs too. These deep-sea crabs used to live only in the abyss. But when the seas drained, they were forced onto land. With so much oxygen still in the air, the crabs grew incredibly agitated, becoming vicious predators, with no other food sources left. Humans became their primary targets. At that moment, the research ship fired a flare for them. Seeing the flare, the mother and her children pushed on through the sea trench. Little did they know, the trench's structure was fragile. Rocks began to tumble from above. As it started to collapse, Mom shoved her children out of the way, but she was trapped by the falling rocks. She couldn't climb out. The siblings had no choice but to head for the research vessel, seeking desperate help. However, by the time they arrived, the captain had already been attacked by the king crabs, leaving him gravely wounded. Meanwhile, Mom's path was cut off by a swarm of king crabs, even though she was a crack shot, taking them down one by one. Her ammunition was running low, while the crabs kept coming. Just as it seemed all was lost for her, a small, youthful hand reached out from above. It was her daughter, back to save her. With her daughter's help, Mom finally pulled herself out of the trench. At that moment, only 10 minutes remained before the sea rushed back in. The two of them ran for their lives, reaching the ship under the cover of the sun's fire. The wounded captain was dragged away by the crabs. The three of them scrambled to seal the vessel. No sooner had they buckled their seatbelts than the floodwaters roared back in. The research vessel was tossed like a toy. The daughter was nearly swallowed by the chaos. It was long before the seas finally calmed. The three of them emerged from the ship. The world before them was a desolate wasteland. But as long as they were alive, there was still a chance. This was never just a typical disaster film. It explored the depths of human nature and despair. Through brutal reality, it showcased the power of familial love. In this world of unknowns, we never know if tomorrow or disaster will come first. But with love and courage, there is no obstacle we cannot overcome while alive. At the same time, it serves as an environmental wake-up call. The director used many shots to show human damage to nature, like the countless barrels of nuclear waste, or the mountains of piled-up plastic bottles. These visually jarring images left every viewer feeling that if humanity does not stop destroying our environment, nature will eventually exact its revenge. Protecting the environment starts with us. Let us safeguard our beautiful Earth together.
Open the Simi TV app and watch the full series now.